Kicking off this countdown at number 10 is, where did Sirenhead come from? This will all depend on what your beliefs are. Some will believe that an artist named Trevor Henderson created the towering monster back in 2018, while others will believe that he's been around since the 1960s. The artist first shared an image of Sirenhead on his Twitter in 2018 and had a very creepy response, with people coming forward with sighting stories. However, the 40-foot tall creature was reported to be seen for the first time back in 1966 when a family on a vacation in the Arizona desert captured a photo of him. Turns out the family was doing some typical tourist stuff and explored the desert, which led them to an old cemetery. Like most people would, they snapped a picture of it, but when they developed the pictures later on, they saw the monster just standing there in between some gravestones. Like, that is some scary movie content right there. That is a family vacation you will never forget.
Moving on to number 9. Sirenhead has multiple ways to manipulate its victims. In fact, he is known as the embodiment of fear, anxiety, and war. When he is close to his victim, he can make them feel immense pain with these fears. He uses this to his advantage to disorient his prey and even make them walk straight to him. Also, it is said that the closer you get to Sirenhead, then the faster your heart will beat. So if you're out wandering about and you start getting heart palpitations, no, it's not from drinking too much coffee. It may just be because Sirenhead is lurking a little too close to you.
Sliding to the number 8 spot is the scary fact that he will kidnap you. Not only do I not want to be kidnapped in general, but the last thing I want kidnapping me is this 40-foot double-headed radio man creature. If I'm gonna get kidnapped, at least give me a chance to escape, equal playing field kind of thing. But there are some victims who got snatched up by him and lived on to tell the tale. One of them's name is Chad. He shared his story online saying that on July 16th, 1995, he and his friends were hiking in the woods of Tanyard Creek where they spotted him just lurking around. According to Chad, his friends got snatched up by the creature, which started using his siren heads to mimic their voices as part of a way to throw off any kind of rescue plan. The only good part of the story is that Chad was actually found alive with just a few minor injuries, but his friends were never found. After this story came to surface, other people claimed that Sirenhead was spotted in Indiana and citizens just started disappearing without any explanation. Coincidence? I think not.
Moving on to number 7, Sirenhead doesn't even have a brain, yet he is capable of doing complex tasks and is quite intelligent. Someone tell me how this creature is capable of having strong cognitive abilities, but is brainless. I can barely remember what I had for breakfast, and yet this creature is out there without a brain, but still practically gifted. It was cereal though. I had cereal for breakfast. So, Sirenhead can execute elaborate plans and is the master at manipulation and can think and process information quickly. Seriously, this creature just keeps becoming more and more terrifying. What's next? He has flamethrower arms? I don't know.
Alright guys, we are at number 6 now, and you're probably wondering what the sirens on his head do. What is their purpose? Clearly they aren't blasting out music or helpful public service announcements, so what is the deal? The 2 sirens on his head give him the ability to release sounds of many different things. The typical sound of a siren, screams, static, and also human conversations. I can only imagine how awful that would be to have screams or TV static playing that loud from a 40-foot monster. Talk about making my ears bleed. But that is not the worst part. One special power these sirens give him is the power of mimicking. He can actually mimic the voices of other humans and play it out loud, which helps him out with his kill. When he attacks a group of people, he can use their voices to distract them or lead them a different way. Maybe you thought the sirens were just a silly look. I personally underestimated them.
We are now at our halfway mark with number 5. Now, let's talk about his eerie appearance. He may just appear to be a tall, rusty-looking creature, but in fact, he is composed of dried, mummified skin. Sirenhead also appears very malnourished and gaunt-looking, and he will always maintain this appearance even after feasting on multiple victims. Dang, he must have a super fast metabolism then. Now, the only part of his body that is made of metal is parts of the speakers that are fused in with his skin. He has the speaker wires running down his neck and body, which can be seen also pressed into his skin. In fact, when this creature is angry, it is said that the wires will begin twitching. Now, that's not all. His arms are said to be the same length of his body, making it easy for him to pick up his prey. He can also rotate his head around his body like an owl so he can target his victims. This dude is the definition of creepy.
I am bringing some bad news for number 4, you guys. Sirenhead is not the only monster. There's actually another monster which was actually introduced by the same artist, Trevor Henderson, called the Long Horse. When I hear that name, I think, what could possibly be so scary about like a long looking horse? But then I saw a picture of it and I regretted ever asking that. Let me describe him to you a little bit so you get a better idea. His skin isn't like a regular horse, it's actually wax, which allows his neck and body to bend just like a human finger would. Like Sirenhead, he too has special abilities. He can make new joints for himself on demand. So if you thought of just like hacking him into pieces as a defense mechanism, you probably need to rethink a good plan. The scariest part is that despite his size, he's deathly quiet, so you won't actually hear him coming. One bright side to this deadly monster is that he smells like cinnamon. I don't know how, I don't understand why, but the next time you smell cinnamon, check out your surroundings.
At number 3, let's talk about his diet. Now, Sirenhead apparently only likes to eat 2 things. One of them being humans. Sorry everyone. And the other being a creature named Bloodlusts. Now, Bloodlusts are other skinny creatures, but they do not have arms, ears, noses, or mouths. But they do have eyes on their forehead that act as their mouths. Does not sound appetizing to me. On top of that, these creatures are also super powerful. But Sirenhead is more dominant and can kill and eat them easily. In fact, in order to capture the bloodless creatures, Sirenhead can remain motionless for multiple days. This allows them to attract multiple bloodless and then feast on them all at one time. However, humans are still their preferred meal, so watch out.
We're moving on to number 2. Guess what? There is more than one Sirenhead. What makes this fact so terrifying is the only reason we know this is because there has been multiple sightings across the globe. And although he has incredibly long legs, there is no way that he could be walking around traveling this much. Many sightings have been reported, and apparently they like to change their location only if their hunting doesn't go to plan. Sirenheads spend most of their time on the prey, searching for humans to stalk and then kill, so if there are no humans in the area, they will often just relocate. But they aren't always on the move. They can actually remain motionless, like Lindsay mentioned, for days at a time. But why would they want to do that? In fact, it is in fear of each other. A Sirenhead knows that a human cannot defeat him, but multiple creatures of his kind could easily team up and take over his hunting grounds. I mean, as long as they don't like relocate to Canada, I'm good. And you're good too. We're safe.
Yay, we're safe. And coming in at our number 1 spot, Sirenhead has multiple powers or abilities. The first being to mimic, as Jocelyn mentioned before. The second being strength. Sirenhead creatures are super strong. They can break down trees, throw boulders, or move other objects with ease. On top of that, they are super fast as well. So if it's a one-on-one between you and Sirenhead, there's no point in even trying. You can't outrun him or even outsmart him. And he is also the master at stealth. He can blend in seamlessly with the surrounding forest, so you won't even see him coming. And lastly, he may even be a shapeshifter. It is said that he may be able to transform his head into street lamp lights or other forms of sirens, but that is still not confirmed. And I wouldn't want confirmation either. You won't find me anywhere near this creature. Alright, starting off with number 10, we have the captured footage of Sirenhead. Yes, you heard me correctly. Now, these videos aren't real. They are fan-edited videos of Sirenhead, but boy are they terrifying, and they will give you nightmares. So these videos often show someone wandering in the woods when they stumble upon Sirenhead. They even added sound effects so you can hear his siren, radio static, and distorted voices. Honestly, these videos are really well done. Like, they make it appear as if it's been a real encounter with Sirenhead. And of course, the scariest part of these videos is that Sirenhead ends up chasing them, and then when it reaches the camera it just goes all staticky and then cuts off. Well, good thing these videos are fake, right? Moving on to number 9, we have the Sirenhead game. Yep, so now you can play the game while Sirenhead plays with your mind. So in 2018, the game was released by Modus Interactive. For this game, you are a forest ranger searching for a missing hiker. However, along the way you find weird clues like scratch marks on the ground, pieces of a t-shirt, and the traveler's backpack. So the goal is for you to solve the mystery. Towards the end of the game, you find the missing hiker, well, his mutilated body. But then you encounter Sirenhead. Sirenhead then chases you while tormenting you with his sounds. The goal is to get back to the beginning and get back to your car. If you let him get too close to you, then he will grab you and kill you instantly. So that's a really uplifting game. But seriously, it's terrifying. You're in a dark forest and all of a sudden Sirenhead is chasing you? Definitely a high stakes, anxiety inducing game. At number 8 we have Sirenhead's location. Now in case anyone was wondering or worrying, there's no chance of you encountering Sirenhead. Unless you are wandering in a forest or live in a rural town. These are the two main places that Sirenhead is said to reside. In fact, most of the depictions of Sirenhead are of them in the forest lurking behind trees or towering over a small house. It is said that they hide in the forest until a local hiker gets lost, or just until the coast is clear for them, to leave and then they invade the small town. It is said that if their hunting isn't going according to plan, then they will relocate to another area. So as long as they don't start targeting bigger cities, I'm safe for now. Moving on to number 7, let's talk about Sirenhead's mouth. Now, Sirenhead may appear mouthless as he doesn't have a face, only 2 speakers protruding from his neck. But then, how does he eat his victims? Well, some say that he has very sharp teeth that emerge from the speakers when it's dinner time. They also say that he has a long, retractable, snake-like tongue that can wrap around a victim's neck while he eats them. Honestly, the visuals of Sirenhead just keep getting scarier and scarier. You literally have no chance against him. There's no point in trying. Now, his teeth look extremely sharp, like multiple pointy daggers just chilling inside his speaker mouth. Honestly, he just gives a new meaning to the band Radiohead. Moving on to number 6, let's talk about his stealth abilities. So, since Sirenhead is super tall, you would think that he would be easy to spot, right? Well, not exactly. They can blend seamlessly in with the trees, so much so that people could just walk right past them without even noticing. This makes it super easy for them to attack, capture, and kill their victims. I mean, I do like going for hikes, but I feel like now I'm just gonna be super paranoid that he's just going to like emerge from the trees and just kidnap me. Like, just look at his body. He could lay flat up against a tree and he would look like just part of the trunk. Also, let me just add a little friendly reminder that he can grab you from a far distance, so he doesn't even need to be close to you to get to you. At number 5 we have the history of Sirenhead. Now, it is said that ancient rock paintings depicting this creature have been found all over the continent of North America. This proves that A, there's tons of them, and B, that they have been residing on this land for a long time. In fact, it is said that there used to be a lot of siren type creatures that used to roam the earth. However, the main Sirenheads are hostile creatures and attack the other creatures, making their form the most dominant. I mean, hey, survival of the fittest, right? At number 4 we have the SCP of Sirenhead. SCP, for those who don't know, is the Special Containment Procedure. So if Sirenhead is caught, unlikely because this dude is giant and way too clever to be tricked, then this is how it should be contained. Sirenhead is SCP-6789. 6789, I just realized that. It has to be kept in a room that has an anti-sound device. Well, obviously this is to avoid being tricked by Sirenhead's sound abilities. The instructions state to never release this creature at any time. Well, yeah, that's a given. Who would capture this deadly creature and then just be like, hey, you know what, let's just let him go? No! Then it's also said that access to the cell is denied and can't be opened unless Council 053 orders it. Again, who wants access to the cell anyway? He's not like a friendly dude to just hang out with. He would just end up using his long arms to drag you inside and then eat you. Moving on to number 3, we have Sirenhead's specific cell instructions. If you do want to open the cell, well, you have to be out of your mind to do so, but if you do, these are the instructions that you have to follow. You first must have 2 Class D personnel with you, and they have to be guarded by a thermal vision system. They all also have to have a heartbeat screen. No scientist and no guard are allowed to enter his cell unless they are the Mobile Task Force Gamma 5 staff. Those are the individuals who are more trained to deal with more severe situations. If you attempt to open the cell without any of the things I just mentioned, then you will be executed. That is, if Sirenhead doesn't get you first. I don't know about you, but I'm just gonna stay far away from Sirenhead's cell. He is a master at deceit, and so knowing him, he probably would just find some sort of way to escape anyway. In our second spot, we have his nuclear war ability. Yep, that's right. Now, what's more terrifying than this giant, skinny, human-eating creature? Well, possibly the fact that he can cause a false alarm of a nuclear war and end up creating one. Like, what? This creature just has all the abilities. Like I mentioned in part 1 of this video, he is super strong, super fast, and is capable of planning and executing complex plans to trap his victims. So he already has so much going on for himself. Why does he also have to have the ability to destroy the world through nuclear war? These creatures can single-handedly destroy the planet. Jeez. And in our number 1 spot, we have this terrifying encounter with this creature. So, Sirenhead was brought to the SCP Foundation's attention after receiving reports of hearing a radio playing in the Himalayan mountains. As a result, they decided to investigate the area, an attempt just to learn more about the entity. But knowing Sirenhead, it wasn't that easy for them. So this unit claimed that on their exploration, they started hearing an alarm. This caused half of the unit to go deaf. The other half passed away from the strength of the alarm sound bursting their brains. It didn't stop there. 2 other troop members were caught and were ripped in half by their hands. As a result, 14 troop members died that day. But the SCP Foundation didn't stop. Their next attempt was to kill this creature. They sent down a bomb in the area and it actually did damage Sirenhead. Only temporarily though. Of course, would you expect otherwise? I don't even think that there's a way to kill Sirenheads. Starting off this video, we have the Ancient Tribe. Alright, so in my last video, I basically said that there probably isn't any way to kill or injure Sirenhead. Turns out, I'm wrong, and I found out multiple ways. So if you decide to go wandering in the woods, then at least be prepared and learn how to defend yourself. So, like I mentioned before, there are ancient rock paintings depicting Sirenhead. There are apparently several paintings out there that show an ancient tribe killing off these species, or at least trying to. So that means that at one point they learned the secret to defeat Sirenhead, but they were not successful in killing all of the creatures because they are still roaming around. But it's hard to interpret these drawings, so we don't really have the complete answer. Moving on at number 9, we have Sirenhead's SCP class. So Sirenhead is under the Keter class. This is the class for creatures that are extremely hard to contain and often need very complex containment procedures. In fact, the Foundation can't even properly contain Sirenhead and they often end up escaping. A reason to this is because the Foundation lacks the right amount of technology to properly control Sirenhead and they need to do more research on them. No worries, I got you guys. They just need to check out all my parts of this video and then they should be good to go. So Sirenhead is a very difficult and costly creature to contain. Coming in at number 8, we have the recorded dialogue. So in the last video of Sirenhead, I mentioned how it was discovered in the Himalayan mountains in 1986. Well, during this time, the troops had a deadly encounter with Sirenhead, and in fact, there is a transcript of their last recording before they were killed. So there were 3 individuals all exploring the mountains. They each had a microphone and were recording their encounter. So in the transcript, one troop says, "Alpha, lead the way to the entity, it is some 30 kilometers from you." The other troop responds with, "Okay, you heard the command, come on." Then out of nowhere you heard cries of pain before all the microphones burst. All the troops ended up dying from the strength of Sirenhead's sounds. In the 7th spot we have Sirenhead's creation. Some will believe that an artist named Trevor Henderson created this towering monster back in 2018, while others believe he's been around since the 1960s. In fact, some people theorize that Slenderman himself is behind the creation of Sirenhead. That's right. And I mean, that would kind of make sense to why Slenderman can injure Sirenhead. It's cause he made him and knows his weaknesses. I have more respect for Slenderman now, if he created this Sirenhead. Up next at number 6 we have the Sirenhead sounds. Ever wanted to know what Sirenhead sounds like? I mean, his sound can easily make your ears bleed and can explode your brain, so why wouldn't you want to know what it sounds like? Well, there are several videos of sounds that claim to be the noises that Sirenhead can make. I listened to the audio for y'all and I'm still alive, so don't worry. But basically, this audio includes different sounds of sirens, whispers, and distorted voices and high-pitched screeches. There's even a sound of an ice cream truck siren, which is really disturbing because it's Sirenhead's way to lure and kill children. And what's also disturbing is the fact that Sirenhead often uses the pleads and screams from his victims as a scare tactic. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Sirenhead's mind control. So I've talked about the endless amount of powers that Sirenhead possesses. He's got super strength, super speed, and even mind control. So it is said that he can emit certain sounds from his sirens that can disorient and control the victim. However, people theorize that if you disable Sirenhead's head, then it will remove his mind control ability, but only temporarily, so just enough time to allow you to escape. But then again, how on earth are you going to disable his head? He's just super tall. People say that you can use a gun to do this. Well, you have to act fast though, because you gotta injure him before he injures you. In our 4th spot, we have another Sirenhead encounter. So we have another story of an apparent Sirenhead encounter. This story takes place in a small town in Florida. This man and his mom's friend were traveling down a small woodsy road on their way to grab some food. That's when the friend's dog started barking and trying to cover its ears. They claimed that the dog hardly barks, so it was quite odd. Then all of a sudden, their car broke down. The man took the dog out for a walk while the friend was going to give the car a jump start. While on the walk, he started to hear a weird loud siren noise. Then out of nowhere, Sirenhead emerged in the distance. Sirenhead switched sounds and played the sound of the dog's whimpers. The man and the dog booked it out of there and made it back to the car, which was ready to go. They sped out of there and swore that they would never mention this encounter again. What would you do if you encountered Sirenhead? Let me know in the comments below. Coming in at number 3, we have Sirenhead's origin. So it is said that Sirenhead used to roam around the darkest parts of hell before finding its way to Earth. That's right. Sirenhead was a creature of hell that eventually escaped to Earth. Well, that explains why this thing is pure evil. But seriously, if he managed to escape hell, then the SCP Foundation has 0 chances of keeping them locked away. In our 2nd spot, we have the Shapeshifter. So I briefly mentioned this in part 1 of this video, but now I'm gonna just go into more detail. So basically, Sirenhead is said to also be a shapeshifter. Apparently, he can transform into anything resembling a tall, thin pole, such as streetlights or pipes. So yeah, Sirenhead can change his head to turn into a street lamplight. So next time you're walking home in the dark, maybe double check your surroundings, make sure, you know, Sirenhead isn't just like lurking there. Now, the creator of Sirenhead also said that one time Sirenhead transformed into house pipes and used this appearance to kidnap a family of 4. He did this without even breaking into their homes. So yeah, you're no longer safe, even in your own house. And in our number 1 spot, we have how to defeat Sirenhead. So, the age-old question, can Sirenhead be defeated? The answer is possibly. If not defeated, then definitely severely injured. So there are 3 recorded things that are said to cause damage to Sirenhead. The first being Slenderman. It is said that Slenderman's tentacles can be used to injure or exhaust Sirenhead temporarily. The next creature is Bloodlusts. I mentioned this creature in part 1. Basically, they are one of Sirenhead's favorite meals, besides humans, of course. These creatures are half human and half monsters. It is said that a group of these creatures can attack and overwhelm Sirenhead. And lastly, we have the Ghost Lantern. This lantern has some sort of orange aura constantly emitting from it, and the light will never go out. So it is said that Sirenhead found this lantern in the woods. When he picked it up, it hurt him and he immediately fled. No clue why or how it did this, but now I like this lantern. Gotta have it on like my bedside table.